Psychology tricks that will work on anybody all the time. Want people to agree with what you're saying? All you have to do is start nodding whilst you're saying the thing you want the person to agree with. The nodding action makes the person start to believe what you're saying is actually true, and therefore they will most likely begin to nod as well and agree with you. This can work in certain situations where you might need to make a good impression on someone, but don't get greedy. This won't work for everyone. The chances are you're often in crowded places, and that can be a big annoyance for a lot of people. Sometimes people aren't walking at the same pace, they're standing still, or there are just so many people you can't move. Here's a pretty obvious, yet effective trick you can use to help clear yourself a path. Just look in the direction you want to go. That's it. Don't look at the people around you, the environment, your phone, or your friends. Just look at where you're headed, and people will make an effort to move out of your way. The reason for this is that normally people will look at your eyes, and if they can see what your vision is fixed on, they have a better understanding of your mission and will naturally move out the way. When you want something from someone, be it a certain amount of money for an item you're selling, or you want your kids to eat more vegetables, aim ridiculously high. Start by suggesting an amount that is much higher than the amount you want. When the person says no, which they should say if you've given a high enough number, then you can ask for the real amount. The other person will feel bad for already having said no, and will be more likely to accept your offer this time around. Everyone knows eye contact is important when talking to someone and trying to build an impression. Yet a lot of people find it hard to maintain eye contact. In fact, most people are very uncomfortable with eye contact, not necessarily when listening, but when speaking to the other person. So, when you're speaking with someone else, try to make a note of their exact eye color. This way you'll make the right amount of eye contact. If you're in a group gathering or meeting and you think someone is likely to become aggressive towards you, sit next to them. It's very easy to show anger towards someone when they're sitting on the other side of the table, but if they're sitting next to that person, then it makes things harder and more awkward to do so. Firstly, you have to turn your body. Secondly, there is an intimidation factor. And thirdly, sitting next to each other makes things more personal and you're unable to hide within the group's circle. Whenever your friend makes a statement, paraphrase it and repeat it. This way, they'll think you're paying a great deal of attention and listening intently to what they have to say. Don't do this all the time though. That would not work out well for you. This is one of the simple psychology tricks you've probably already heard of before. If you're on a date and you choose an activity that involves an adrenaline rush, this will help stimulate arousal in the brain and make the other person believe they are really enjoying their time with you. Do you ever get that feeling like somebody's eyes are on you and they're intently watching you? Maybe you can feel somebody's stare on the back of your head? If you want to find out whether or not they were watching you, try this simple psychology trick. Yawn. Make sure they can see you when you yawn. After you yawn, turn and look at them. If they're now yawning, you know that they were watching you. This is because yawning is contagious. Try it, watch a video of someone yawning and see if you do the same. This is a great trick for anybody who wants to find out if someone is showing an interest in them, like a crush or so on. If you think that someone doesn't like you, try asking them for a really small favor, like borrowing their pen. If they don't like you, then they will be inclined to say no to your request, naturally. However, asking to borrow a pen is such a small favor that it's incredibly hard for anyone to say no to that. After accepting your request for a small favor, he will eventually come to the conclusion that you're okay after all.